The following is a live presentation of CBC Sports. The CFL season is not yet two-thirds over, but tonight, Ivor Wynne Stadium hosts a game with far-reaching consequences. The Ottawa Roughriders, led by Damon Allen, can put a virtual lock on a playoff spot. But Earl Winfield and the Hamilton Tiger Cats don't want to be locked out. Ottawa at Hamilton in Week 11 of the CFL on CBC. Renovations have been underway on the Ottawa Roughriders since early August. The Riders have won twice as many as they've lost in the 6 weeks since Joe Faraghelli was brought in to supervise the project. A project in which Reggie Barnes has reverted to the form that saw him named the CFL's top rookie last season. And a project that has seen Damon Allen quarterback the Riders far more proficiently than he did in his previous 2 seasons. As Allen goes, so goes Ottawa. The Hamilton Tiger Cats have been remodeling since the season began, and 3 weeks ago, they finally brought in a qualified foreman. They've gone .500 under John Gregory. Gregory is using the same materials, but getting results from veteran quarterback Mike Kerrigan, who's back in his starting role with his quick trigger. From Canadian fullback Ernie Schremeyer, who's relishing a chance to start. And from linebacker John Moten, the best player in an all-new defense. Tonight, the rebuilding Tiger Cats have a chance to move to within 4 points of Ottawa. There's a core of Tiger Cat faithful in Hamilton, and they're at Ivor Wynne tonight to watch their team scramble to stay in playoff contention. Welcome to Hamilton, where the long-term future of the Tiger Cats is often discussed. Time does not permit us to go into that right now, but we do have time to talk about the Tiger Cats' immediate future, and that's a much shorter story. It boils down to this: if the Tiger Cats don't win tonight, then postseason play will no longer be a consideration. So it's a high-stakes game, and to talk some more about it, here's Don Whitman with Joe Galat in the broadcast booth.
Thank you, Scott. Hi, everybody. Joe, neither side is going to abandon the passing game tonight, but yesterday, both coaches were talking about the importance of establishing a running game. And if that's the case, I would think Ottawa has an edge.
Well, Reggie Barnes is one of those kinds of running backs that he can do all kinds of things with the football. He's had 8 touchdowns rushing, and more importantly, he's had 2 touchdowns receiving. And I think as a receiver, he's the key to their offense.
Barnes is the number 2 rusher in the CFL behind the league leader, Robert Mims of Winnipeg. Jamie Morris is the man who will do the bulk of the running for the Hamilton Ticats.
Well, Jamie Morris is one of those kinds of football players. You see the guys with great acceleration, guys that can break tackles. He hasn't had as many opportunities as he would like, but tonight I think he's going to get that chance to control the ball.
And they'll need a big game from Jamie Morris tonight if they hope to close the gap between themselves and the third-place Ottawa Roughriders. Scott?
Don, after a dozen years in the Canadian Football League, a frightening back injury will not be enough to end the distinguished career of Trevor Kennard, and we'll talk to the Bomber place kicker on Live at the Half. We'll also examine some of the numerous records that could fall in this wild CFL season where 50-point games have become the norm and no lead is ever safe. That's all coming up on Live at the Half. The kickoff is up next. You're watching the CFL on CBC, live from Ivor Wynne Stadium in Hamilton.
21 degrees is the temperature tonight. There is a forecast of showers. Hopefully, they will stay away until this game comes to a conclusion. John Gregory, in just his 3rd game as head coach of the Hamilton Ticats. His career somewhat similar to that of Joe Faraghelli. They both started in the CFL as assistant coaches in Winnipeg. They both were head coaches with the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and they both joined their current teams partway through the season when their predecessors were fired. In the case of Joe Faraghelli, it was Steve Goldman who was released as the head man in Ottawa, and here in Hamilton, David Beckman was fired as coach of the Ticats. Paul Osbaldiston preparing to kick off for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Bob Gordon and Anthony Drawhorn are back for this kickoff. Gordon making his debut in the CFL as a receiver for the Ottawa Rough Riders. He's number 86. The coaching staff was saying they've been anxious to get him into the lineup for some time, and we'll get a look at him on the opening kickoff from the 20-yard line. He brings the ball out to the 37. It's 1st and 10. Terry Wright was there to make the tackle. A 17-yard run back after a 55-yard kickoff.
Well, coach will be happy with that, and Damon Allen takes over the ball on the 38, his own 38-yard line, and he wants to get some things going. He's had some good success. Big problem has been the interceptions.
17 interceptions as opposed to 16 touchdown passes. Damon Allen has the ability to run with the ball himself. He's number 6 in league rushing, but he can't get away from John Moulton. And that's the type of start that the Ticats were hoping for. Tough, aggressive defensive play that they have become known for over the years.
Well, that's what Coach Gregory did. He put some people in the lineup this week. He got Rance, number 72. He's got David Bailey from last week, who he was impressed with. And Bailey is strong up front. And, of course, Peter Gustopoulos at the middle linebacker position. But the guy that has to hold up is Corus Irvin on those good wide receivers.
Second down, and Barnes runs into a crowd at the 35-yard line. He did not get back to the original line of scrimmage after a loss of 10 on the previous play. Brian Hilk and John Moulton were there to make the stop. So John Gregory has to be pleased with what he has seen from his defensive squad. It's 2 and out for the Ottawa Rough Riders, and Terry Baker moves back to handle this 3rd down punt.
Well, Terry Baker will have to get a good punt off, but Ottawa was setting up their trap series. They love to give that ball to Reggie Barnes on a trap and then come back out on play action passing with that, and Damon Allen has run a bootleg off of that same play.
Nick Mazzoli, the lone man back for this 3rd down punt by Baker. A low end-over-end kick that bounces to Mazzoli at the 30-yard line. He gets it back to the Ottawa side of the field. A 26-yard return. Daniel Hunter was there to make the tackle. And if you wonder why scores have been so high this year in the CFL, I think some of it is attributable to the fact that each team has improved their special teams. They have great punt and kickoff return people.
You're absolutely right on that, Don. All of the teams have worked extremely hard on their return game. Their punt returns, their kick returns. Mazzoli way over his average. But Kerrigan wants to come out and establish that they can dominate the game with their ball control offense.
1st and 10. Kerrigan completes the pass to Rocky DiPietro. A 1st down at the 41. And the Rock now needs one more to reach 700. The only CFL player to ever hit that mark.
And he's going to do it. There's no question about that. He may do it on this drive. What Kerrigan wants to do is get that ball to Jamie Morris, make the defense stay honest, because they love to blitz. Ottawa loves to send a lot of blitzing, and when they blitz, Earl Winfield is the guy they're going to go to.
Winfield lines up wide left, 3 receivers to the left. Here's the draw play with Morris. He'll get about 2 yards. It will be 2nd and 8. Kropke and Snipes were there to make the tackle, and something Ottawa is doing this game, which they were unable to do last week against BC, is rotate their defensive linemen. The only constant will be rush end Greg Stuman, but the other 4 will rotate: Lloyd Lewis, John Kropke, Leibrant Robinson, and Glenn Kulka.
Well, Lloyd Lewis is going to be a key because the Hamilton line is a little bit changed. Andre Francis is going to have to do a real good job on coverage with the outside people.
Champion makes the catch for a 1st down, and he paid the price inside the 30-yard line as he was hit by Charles Gordon and Anthony Drawhorn, but he still picks up a 1st down. Hamilton.
Well, they had him sandwiched. They were looking for him. As you can see, Kerrigan comes out. He wants to throw the ball quick, but look, they had him double covered. Kerrigan put the ball in there. He had to catch it, but he, like you say, he paid the price.
Champion lines up wide left. Winfield to the right. 1st and 10 from the 30-yard line. Handoff straight ahead to Morris, and Morris fights his way down to the 25. That will be a pickup of 5.
Well, that's what John Gregory wants. He wants at least 5 yards. If he can do a 5-yard gain on that running play, then he thinks he can control the defense of Ottawa. They love to blitz, but they don't like to blitz when it's 2nd and 5, because now that puts them in a one-on-one with those running backs on linebackers, and that's a mismatch.
Second down play. Kerrigan's in trouble. Got away from Stuman. Looking downfield. Throws low, intended for Rocky DiPietro.
That's exactly what the Ottawa coaches said. Joe Faragelli yesterday said if we can put pressure on Kerrigan, if we can make him reload, and what he means by that is if he has to pull that ball back and start tapping his hand and looking for somebody to throw to, he had to reload on that one. Joe Faragelli, you did the right thing.
Faragelli said they wanted to take Kerrigan out of his rhythm, and they certainly got him out of sync that time. Paul Osbaldiston will now attempt a 32-yard field goal. Todd Dillon holds, and the kick is good. So the Hamilton Ticats are first on the board here at Ivor Wynne Stadium with 10 remaining in the opening quarter. It's Hamilton 3, Ottawa no score. In the two previous games, the Ottawa Rough Riders were winners on August 24th by a score of 24-19 here at Ivor Wynne, and August 29th at home by a margin of 38-14. In that game on August 24th, when David Beckman was still the head coach, prior to John Gregory taking over on the Labor Day weekend, Hamilton led going into the fourth quarter. But then the Rough Riders came to life and pulled it out with a fourth quarter surge. This is Bob Gordon on the kickoff return, and he's tackled once again by Terry Wright. That was a 17-yard run back.
Terry Wright makes the tackle.
Damon Allen is still in good field position, even though they're 32-yard, 31, 32-yard line. Not bad field position. One of the advantages of having the defensive teams kick off is to have that good field position when you start out. But there's no secret what he's going to do. Reggie Barnes is going to be the guy to get the ball, and they want to find out if Bobby Gordon, their wide receiver, is as good in practice or as good in games as he was in practice.
Barnes the ball carrier, and Barnes bowls his way up close to the 45-yard line. That will be a pickup of about 8 yards.
The ball carrier, Jackson and Wilkerson on the tackle.
Barnes, number 2 in rushing in the CFL, almost 300 yards back of the leader, Robert Mims. Barnes has had 2 big games this year, 191 yards against Edmonton on August the 15th and 154 in a losing effort against BC on September the 4th.
They got the big guys in there, and it's going to be push them back. Try to get those 2 yards, but watch for play pass as well. Play action passing works well in these situations.
They give it to Barnes, and Barnes is met head-on right at the 45-yard line. He's going to be stopped short of a first down. Mark Mraz, the new addition to the Ticat defensive unit, playing that nose guard spot.
And if you want to impress your coach, when you get a chance to get in there and play, that's what you do. You impress him on short yardage particularly. You get the surge, and you outcharge the opposition. John Gregory likes what he saw in Mark Mraz on that one.
On third down, the Rough Riders are going after it. They trail 3-0. The ball at their own 45-yard line. Full house backfield. They give it to Barnes, and Barnes is stopped short. They tried to go wide with Barnes, and Bob Dawson came up from his inside halfback position to throw him for a loss of 1, and the Ticats take over first and 10 at the 44 of Ottawa.
That's a turnover. When you hold a team on third down, you've turned the field all the way over. Watch the guard pulling. They're trying to get the lead back out in front of the play. Barnes has to go around the pile. They had a good surge up front. David Bailey, Vernon Maxwell. He had to go around the pile. That's why he had to give a little ground and see what happened. He just didn't make it.
First and 10. Deep throw for Winfield. Winfield and Francis, a couple of number 1s battling for position. And Winfield is claiming that he was interfered with by Francis.
He said it was that other one. He said the other one did the bad thing there. Watch this. Watch Francis work on him. You're allowed to stab a little bit there. You're allowed to feel where he is, but you're not allowed to grab the collar.
Second and 10. The ball between the 44 and the 45 of the Ottawa Rough Riders. Hamilton leading by a score of 3-0 on a Paul Osbaldiston field goal. 8:30 the time remaining in this opening quarter. Kerrigan throwing for Champion, incomplete, and Kerrigan was under some pressure, and Champion had drawn double coverage from both Anthony Drawhorn and Charles Gordon.
You can see Greg Steuben come in underneath, and Kerrigan feels him coming. That's like an alligator snapping at his heels, and then Kropke comes in to sort of challenge him after he threw the ball, but credit Greg Steuben with the pressure.
So that turnover, the failure to pick up yardage on third down, doesn't prove nearly as costly to the Rough Riders as it might have. Osbaldiston's third down punt will sail through the end zone and result in a single point. But it could have been worse. So with 8:07 remaining in the first quarter, a 64-yard single makes it 4-0 Hamilton. Well, if the Hamilton Ticats hope to retain any playoff hopes, a win tonight is most important. They would not be mathematically eliminated with a loss, but the task would be extremely difficult. And Ottawa, of course, attempting to remain in touch with Winnipeg and Toronto, the two teams ahead of them. Winnipeg later tonight will take on the BC Lions in Vancouver. Damon Allen pressured from the backside. Campbell's got him.
Joe Campbell did nothing but run around the block of Rob Smith. He just took the hard outside, and he took the soft corner and ran Damon Allen down. Joe Campbell has come on in the last 3 or 4 weeks. Since Joe Faragelli came in, he's been playing good football.
Isn't there a general feeling that you can pressure Damon Allen from the backside, that he doesn't seem to feel that pressure, that blitzing?
Well, that's apparently what John Gregory's assumption is. He's going to try to go blindside on him, give him blindside pressure.
Gordon makes the catch up at the 46-yard line, and that is a first down for the Ottawa Rough Riders. Gary Wilkerson forcing Gordon out of bounds.
This is a nice move. Joe Faragelli said the kid looks good in practice. I hope he looks half as good in the games. He looks like a receiver. Well, right here he looked like a receiver.
They tried to get him into a game earlier this year, but their import Canadian ratio was fouled up when Glenn Kulka became involved in an automobile accident, and they had to juggle other personnel.
You say Jose Canseco or Kulka? Glenn Kulka, that's right. And Glenn didn't play that particular game. That's when they put Librand Robinson in the ball game. He's played so well they haven't taken him out. So Joe's got another import in there now in Bobby Gordon.
Gordon lines up wide left on 1st and 10 at the 45-yard line. Wilkerson in his face. Wilkerson bumps him at the line of scrimmage, but the ball goes straight ahead with Barnes, the ball carrier, for a gain of about 4, stopped by David Bailey.
What they're trying to do is to get the thing broken, and when you get linebackers blitzing like that, sometimes their gap control isn't as good as it should be, and they nearly got Reggie Barnes through that seam on the blitzing backers.
Second down, the ball between the 48 and the 49. Make it 2nd and 7. Damon Allen throwing to the sidelines, incomplete. It was intended for Brown, and Corus Irvin came up to strip it from him just as he was trying to pull it in.
Well, this Corus Irvin, he is not a big defensive back as defensive backs go, but he makes himself big when he gets out there and competes. Corus Irvin is playing the receiver, playing through the receiver to the ball, and he just jars it loose. You can't catch the ball when you're trying to save your own life.
Corus Irvin, one of a number of World League of American Football products, playing with the Hamilton Ticats. Nick Mazzoli, the lone man back for this Terry Baker punt. A good kick. Mazzoli takes it at the 13. Penalty flag on the play, so all this effort by Mazzoli could go for naught.
Baker's punt is taken by Mazzoli.
Charles Gordon was over to make the tackle. A run back of just 2 yards by Mazzoli, but he ran a lot further than that to get the 2 yards. But the infraction, regardless, is against the Hamilton Ticats.
You know, how many times do you hear the coaches say, don't run backwards? There's a reason for that. Not just that you lose yards, but your own blockers don't know where you are.
Legal block, number 35. First down, Hamilton.
And
John Zeidel was guilty of the illegal block.
well, he didn't know where his back was, and that's tough. When your return man starts to run backwards and then your defender starts to reroute, it really is confusing to your own team. Run up the field. Don't run backwards.
From the 3-yard line, it's first and 10. Jamie Morris battles his way out to about the 8-yard line before being stopped there by Daniel Hunter and Glenn Kulka.
That's what John Gregory saw in Jamie Morris, the ability to make a cut at full speed. This guy has had 1,000 yards rushing every year that he played at Michigan, and you know what Michigan did to Notre Dame today. He's been with a good football program.
John Gregory likes this young running back, a brother of Joe Morris of the New York Giants. Pass is behind Earl Winfield, so the Ticats will be forced to kick it away.
There's another guy that doesn't like to get hit from the backside. I don't think any quarterback likes to get hit from the blind side, but when you see Kerrigan drop back, he's trying to throw the ball on rhythm, but he gets it right in the middle of the back by Greg Stuman. He really jarred him. You got to block that backside, fellas. Quarterback can't see them coming. Somebody's got to block for him.
5 minutes remaining in the opening quarter as Paul Osbaldiston, who has accounted for all the scoring so far in the game, stands about 7 yards deep. Here comes Scott Flagel putting pressure on, and I think wisely Osbaldiston concedes a safety touch.
Yeah, he did the best thing he could do. He knew he was in trouble. Had he gone out of bounds, or had he gone up to the 1-yard line, it would have been a sure touchdown. So he did the best thing.
Commissioner Don Crump's in attendance tonight. Commissioner, a member of your expansion committee, John Candy, was quoted as saying today that it's entirely possible your league will have a team in Portland next year. Are those the realities as you know them?
Well, Scott, it's possible. They were out looking at the stadium and meeting with Jack Obilovich and his group, and they intend to make a report to the league, and I guess it's up to the governors at that point to decide where they go from there.
One of those governors, League Chairman Phil Kershaw, told me last week that you're safe in your job as commissioner, but reports persist that you're a man under siege. Do you know where these reports come from, and are you concerned about them?
Scott, I'm not concerned about them. They seem to be unconfirmed reports coming from one Toronto newspaper, and that's all I can say.
So you're commissioner of the CFL for a while, as far as you're concerned?
Well, I believe so.
All right, Commissioner Crump, thanks for your time. Enjoy the game.
Thank you very much.
Don?
Following the safety touch, the Ticats kick off, and Anthony Drawhorn gets it back out to the 37-yard line. Terry Wright, who has really excelled on special teams, is there to make the tackle. That's the third tackle on a kickoff return that Terry Wright has made, limiting Drawhorn's run back to 10 yards.
Well, this Terry Wright's going to get a special teams award for coverage if he keeps that up.
Well, each team honors their special teams player of the week. Recognition that is richly deserved. Barnes was trying to break out of the grasp of a couple of Hamilton players. Mraz and Giftopoulos both had a hold on his sweater.
That was a good hit out, a good surge by the offensive line of Ottawa. They know they've got a good running back. They've got a guy that'll blow up through there, so they're doing the job for him, even though it is a bit makeshift.
2nd and 5. Allen to put it in the air. Can't find anybody in the open. And he'll try and run for the first down. He'll be close. Brian Hilk forced him out of bounds. It is a first down, signals referee Ken Lazaruk.
Well, this is what a quarterback has to do. When all else fails, you got to get up there and make the first down yourself. Damon knows where the first down marker is, and he alertly gets there.
In talking about the high scores this year, that's another thing Joe Farragelli alluded to, the ability of the quarterbacks in the CFL to run with the football. Barnes, the ball carrier, to midfield. That will be a pickup of 7 yards. David Bailey was there to make the stop.
I think Joe Farragelli would be happy with Illebrew and Yelarenko. They blew the people off the line on that play, made a nice hole for Barnes, and, you know, there they are again, 2nd and 4. That's a pretty good position to be in when you're a quarterback. A lot of things work when it's 2nd and 4.
Joe was more interested in talking about the better Italian restaurants in town yesterday than whether or not
Than the skill people.
this would be a high-scoring football game.
But we found a better one than he did.
I think so. Pass complete to James Ellingson, and he's taken out of bounds with a first down at the 51. Gary Wilkerson came over to force Ellingson out of bounds.
Well, all you couch coaches are going to get a good look at this because Damon Allen throws that football right at you. And could you make the catch and still dance around a couple enemy tacklers? Good job by Ellingson. Good concentration.
The Duke, as he is nicknamed, providing the Ottawa Rough Riders with a first down at the 51 of the Hamilton Ticats. Like so many receivers, he wears those glass cutter's gloves. Damon Allen stepping up, looking to throw. And getting back into the play was linebacker John Moten, who made the tackle after a pickup of about 3 yards.
Damon Allen is starting to get really tough out there. I mean, he's headbutting with these big linebackers. Damon knew he had to run with the football, but I'm surprised to see him drop his head, just headbutt into Moten.
Surprisingly, Ottawa has run the football 9 times so far in this ball game, and Damon Allen has only thrown 3. This will be his 4th. It's incomplete. It was intended for James Ellingson. So the Rough Riders, who have shown a preference so far in the ball game for the ground game, will send out the punting unit.
David Bailey's a little bit upset. He thought he was held, or he would have had a sack on Allen. He came in and did disturb his rhythm, but he didn't get the sack that he wanted, and he's talking to the officials about the holding. I think that's one of the things that the young linemen, defensive linemen, aren't aware of. Hey, it's a war out there. Once in a while, somebody's going to snag a little piece of your jersey. You still got to go. You still got to get through. Terry Baker's had some erratic snaps from center, so this is something you should be aware of. Although his net punting, a little bit high, but his net punting has been good, and that's as a result of his coverage.
Mazzoli on the return, a couple of good blocks. But Daniel Hunter was able to get through and make the tackle after a run back of 8 yards.
Daniel Hunter on the tackle.
1:11 the time remaining in this opening quarter. It's a 4-2 Hamilton lead over the Ottawa Rough Riders, and it will be 1st and 10 Hamilton at their own 12-yard line. And John Gregory was hoping for better field position than that.
They're getting a lot of people setting up on the blocks. Look at a good job here, coming back. Mazzoli, he's working his cover. He's working the blocks pretty well. He just ran out of blockers, but he had some good help initially when he got the ball.
1st and 10 and no opportunity as Librant Robinson comes through on Mike Kerrigan and sacks him for a loss of about 5.
Well, they ran a stunt. Up front, you can see the stunt that the linemen are going inside. Robinson came back around, and he just accelerated right through Kerrigan. That's a nice job. Librant Robinson was helped on that by Anthony Drawhorn's blitz. That's what set it up.
2nd and 15. Schremeyer, the ball carrier, and he gets back to the original line of scrimmage. So with 13 seconds remaining in the quarter, after Snipes and Robinson brought down Schremeyer, the Ticats are again forced to kick it away, and Ottawa will come up with good field position.
Well, Ottawa chipped away when they did have the football. Gee, that guy's got to stop doing that. Looks like he looked down his gas tank and lit a match.
He did something that most of us wouldn't do.
I think Freddie is dead.
Osbaldiston stands in the end zone for this 3rd down punt. Gets away a pretty good kick. It's fielded by Drawhorn at the midfield stripe. Good coverage downfield by the Ticats. Pete Gibdopoulos making the tackle. It's a loss of 1 after a 43-yard kick, and that's the final play of the open.
Both teams.
Kokomo Beach Band.
Well, this game, quite a contrast to most of the high-scoring affairs we have witnessed this season. It almost seemed that the team that scored 51st would emerge the winner. Still plenty of time here at Iberwin Stadium. Sideline pattern to Gordon, but it goes out of bounds. And it will be 2nd and 10. The Rough Riders, more yards along the ground than through the air. The reverse for the Hamilton Ticats. 1 turnover in the football game. That was the failure by the Rough Riders to pick up a first down on a 3rd down gamble. 4-2 is the score. 2nd and 10 facing Ottawa. The ball at their own 53-yard line. The second play of the second quarter. Brown right, Gordon left. Damon Allen goes to his right, throws short of Eddie Brown. And Ottawa will send out the punting unit. There is a penalty marker on the play.
Ottawa's offensive line is upset. They think they had an unnecessary roughness on the passer, but they got to protect him better.
Both ways, says referee Ken Lazaruk.
Well, they're marching it off against Hamilton.
Hamilton, major foul, roughing the passer, number 92, first down Ottawa.
Well, Vernon Maxwell come in on a stunt. If you want to see what the stunt is, they're twisting, and watch Vernon Maxwell come underneath the block, and he made a sandwich with Campbell came in on one side, Maxwell came in on the other side. They really pinched on Allen.
Roughing just against the Hamilton Ticats as the ball carrier's Reggie Barnes. Lazaruk confused me with that signal. I thought he was indicating rough play both ways initially.
Yeah, it looked like he was trying to, of course, there was some retaliation on that offensive line, so that's what the preliminary signal looked like that. However, Reggie Barnes ran that counter play. They like to run the trap, and they like to run this counter play where they pull their guard and their tackle. He nearly broke that one. Gaftopoulos came up and put a nice hit on him.
Well, Joe Faragelli was saying yesterday that his team would try and establish the running game. We really didn't think we'd see them stay on the ground that much in this opening pass. The pass is intercepted by Dawson. It was intended for Gerald Wilcox, and the Ticats with their second turnover of the ball game take over 1st and 10 at the 35.
Bobby Dawson is on Wilcox, and watch what he does. He sees Damon Allen's eyes, and watch him break right for the football. He did a better job of going after the football than Wilcox did. That's a good play. Those defenders, they like to look at the quarterback. When they see him pump the ball and then look in a certain direction, they'll take a little bit of a guess. And that's what Dawson did. He went low and got the ball.
Intended for Ken Abrere, it's incomplete. It will be 2nd and 10, Hamilton. Tonight, Winnipeg is at BC. Tomorrow, Edmonton is at Saskatchewan, and Toronto at Calgary.
Damon's upset now with Wilcox because, as we said, the defender played the ball better than Wilcox did. Now Damon's explaining to him, look, I have to throw that ball quick. You got to be my hot receiver when there's a blitz coming. When we don't have enough protection, you got to look for the ball quick. He told him.
Here comes Flagel from the black side, but quarterback Kerrigan got it away. Intended for Winfield, and again, Andre Francis was covering. And Kerrigan has missed on his last 6 passes. Scott Flagel and Patrick Wayne were both coming, perhaps forcing Kerrigan to hurry his throw.
I think they forced him to hurry the throw, but watch Francis. Watch number 1 grab number 1. And number 1 doesn't like that, so he says, hey, number 1, you can't grab my number 1 jersey.
Which number 1 are you talking about?
And the other number 1 says, hey, get back to the huddle. I'm the number 1 on this team.
Osbaldiston's 3rd down kick forces Drawhorn back to his own 22. Good downfield tackle by Terry Wright. I think he's got a real edge on that special team award already.
Terry Wright making the tackle.
A 52-yard kick. 4-2 is the score. Anthony Drawhorn had no opportunity on that punt return as Terry Wright was downfield very, very quickly. And that's the 4th tackle he has made in this ball game on special teams.
Watch Terry Wright come in, and he makes a solid tackle. He wraps him up. Now he'll get up. He'll pick up his leg, and then he'll walk over his chest and hold his hands up, signaling touchdown. No, 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 Terry. It's not a touchdown. It's your 4th good tackle on punt coverage.
1st and 10 Ottawa. The Rough Riders are at their own 26. Sean Daniels, the ball carrier. Pretty good hole, and the 1st down up to the 41-yard line.
You hear so many backs. 15. You hear so many backs talk about cutback. Well, this is a cutback. You can see a perfect hole in here. Illebrand comes up and does a nice job one-on-one. Sean Daniels has a beautiful cutback. That's what it means. You cut back against all of that pursuit.
1st and 10 from the 41-yard line. Gordon goes wide left. Brown to the right. Sean Daniels again. And there's a penalty flag, a late call after Brian Hilk made the tackle. And the penalty call goes against the Hamilton Ticats again. A rough play call against Hamilton.
Hamilton, major foul, unnecessary roughness, number 92. 1st down, Ottawa.
Vernon Maxwell was guilty of the rough play. He's operating from that outside linebacking position. He came in with a late hit after Brian Hilk had made the tackle. 1st and 10. The ball is at the 49. Movement at the line of scrimmage, but Damon Allen never got the ball from center Irv Damon.
I think Damon tried to call an audible, and it just got everybody unhinged. They were trying to get that blitz picked up.
Ottawa, legal procedure, number 9, still 1st down.
Joe, both teams tonight have had some problems picking up the blitz.
Well, I think that's what the theory on both sides of the ball is to put pressure on them, give them a population problem, put more people rushing the passer than you've got blocking.
1st and 15. The ball now back to the 54-yard line. The fake to Sean Daniels, and the pass goes to Daniels, and up covering quickly is Brian Hill.
Brian Hill saved a big play. That screen pass was set up perfectly, and if it hadn't been for Brian, they would have had a huge play. You can see Brian diagnose the play, but the defenders are already upfield. They already see Campbell. They're already rushing the passer. A lot of blockers out in front except for Hilk. He stopped that play and had a chance to go somewhere.
Back to the 52-yard line at 2nd and 19, Ottawa. Gordon goes wide left, Brown to the right. 4-2 is the score. Hamilton leading with 10:25 remaining in the 2nd quarter, and Sean Daniels is stopped by Hilk again. And that's a loss of an additional 2 yards. So Hilk, who is making his debut in this game, is certainly making his presence felt.
How many times have we seen that this year? When you see a guy come up, a defender particularly, make a great play, and the next down, they come up and make another great play. They put a pair of them together, back to back. Good job by Brian Hilk.
Well, John Gregory was telling us yesterday that he was very impressed with the work of both Brian Hilk and Mark Mraz, and feels he has a couple of good ones in the two of them, and so far, from what we've seen in this first half, we'd have to agree. Mazzoli brings the punt back to the 48-yard line. There's also a penalty flag on the play. A 27-yard run back by Nick Mazzoli.
Trevor Kennert's had a Hall of Fame career, and it's going to take more than a few broken bones in his back to discontinue it. We'll talk to the Bomber place kicker on Live at the Half, and we'll examine some of the records that could and likely will fall. The result of a season in which teams are racing to 50 points to decide who wins. But, Don, the race has yet to begin here in Hamilton tonight.
They've got a long way to go at Ivor Wynn. 4-2 is the score, 9:46 remaining. Mike Kerrigan completed his first 2 passes. He has not hit one since. He's missed on 6 straight tries. This is Jamie Morris on a reverse, and a first down up to the 25-yard line. Safety Scott Flagel came over to make the tackle. Jamie Morris at Michigan, 3 consecutive years of better than 1,000 yards rushing.
Just a nice counter action, and Morris shows good ability to get that corner and still drive for some extra yardage after he's hit.
First and 10 Hamilton, the ball now at the 26. Lee Knight gets the ball, and he will be stopped at the 30-yard line. Well, both coaches, as we said at the start of the telecast, stressed that they would be working on the ground game tonight at Ivor Wynn. Joe, I don't think either you or I felt they would be on the ground as much as we have witnessed so far.
Well, I think field position may have something to do with it, but you've got to look at how many times they've taken over the ball in their own territory, deep in their own territory. They are being conservative.
Hamilton 1 for 6 on second down conversions. Rocky DiPietro can't make the catch with Anthony Drawhorn all over him.
Well, Anthony Drawhorn's really happy with himself. Look at him. I guess that made up for getting walked all over when you were a punt returner, so he had his chance to. Now he's going to do a punt return, but he had his chance to show what he can do, and he played Rocky DiPietro perfectly. Took the inside away.
4-2 is the score. A field goal and a single by Paul Osbaldiston, and a safety touch accounting for the Ottawa scoring. Drawhorn takes the ball at the 38. He won't get any further than the 45, and there's another penalty flag. Lance Trumbull was there to restrict the return to 7 yards. Time of possession, Ottawa 13:04, Hamilton 7:05 thus far.
Ottawa, illegal block, number 74. First down.
Rob Prodanovic, guilty of the illegal block. That takes the ball back to the 32-yard line. It will be first and 10 from that point.
Well, Damon Allen is on the 32-yard line. He's got a possibility here to get this thing working.
Barnes lugs it out to the 35. A pickup of 3. It will be second and 7.
I'm surprised they didn't come back with that bootleg off the play pass. I thought they'd have a little more play action, having set up all of those runs in the first quarter. I thought now we'd see some play action, but not yet.
Gordon goes wide left. Brown comes to the right. Second and 6. Damon Allen fakes, runs, and is going to be close to a first down. Hilk and Gustopoulos both over to make the stop and sandwich Ottawa quarterback Damon Allen. Let's see where they spot it. It appears to be about a yard short of a first down. While Ottawa gambled in the opening quarter, didn't make it. It appears as though this time they are going to send out the punting unit.
Well, you got to credit Pete Gustopoulos because Damon wanted to throw the ball. Peter jumped up in his face, so he pulled it back down and ran with it. Joe Faragelli's getting a little bit impatient. He thought his offense would move better against the Hamilton defense that's ranked way down there in the standings.
Perry Baker a little anxious today. He and his wife are expecting their second child at almost any moment.
Well, he was anxious with that last punt snap. We'll see how he is on this one.
He got some pressure, but still managed to get the kick away. Tim Lorenz came right up the middle. A 35-yard kick and a 10-yard return by Mazzoli with 6:44 left in the half. Rob Prodanovic centers the ball on third down punts for the Ottawa Rough Riders. I don't think he anticipated this type of pressure on that last snap.
Watch Terry Baker. He's getting pressure from all sides, and he's still got the football away, and he's waiting for a call from the hospital.
Tim Lorenz came right up the middle, but couldn't get to Baker in time. 1st and 10. Kerrigan throwing for Champion, incomplete. Champion was bumping as he went upfield with Charles Gordon.
Well, that was a mix-up because Kerrigan knew where he was throwing the football, and Champion was trying to work inside. And then when he saw the ball thrown, he tried to get back outside. That could have been a completion had Champion gone where he threw the football.
After starting with 2 strikes, Champion has now thrown 8, or Kerrigan has thrown 8 incompletions. This one intended for Champion.
That's an error on the fielder.
Second and 10. The ball is at the 46. On second down plays, the Ticats are 1 for 7. Winfield will change that as he lugs the ball to the 52 of Ottawa. A hitch screen to the wideout. Earl Winfield produces a first down. Anthony Drawhorn and Scott Flagel made the tackle.
Well, Winfield's been hobbled, but he showed some courage here. He took the football, came back underneath. All those receivers coming out to block for him. See a nice block on Gordon. Came back underneath on Rocky, and he got the first down.
Winfield was hurt in that 52-25 loss to the Hamilton, or to the Toronto Argonauts last Saturday. And Jamie Morris gets another first down inside the 40, stopped by Greg Stuman.
Greg Stuman on the tackle.
Oh, Jamie Morris likes this kind of football. He likes to carry the ball. They gave him a chance here. They showed pass, and Jamie just did a complete spin and then took the ball on a counter. Some people call it the Statue of Liberty. Some people call it just a counter play. Jamie Morris called it 12-yard gain.
5:03 remaining in the half. Again, it's Jamie Morris, and this time he'll pick up maybe 8.
That's the kind of back he is. He likes to carry the ball, and he'll search. They call that play the search because he searches for a hole. John Gregory's calling something else. He wants his big men in there on the short yardage situation. And I think he was worried they were going to run an open formation on short yardage. That's not what you want.
John has a tendency on occasion to get a little excited on the sidelines, become quite animated.
I wouldn't say it's a tendency. I'd say it's a flat-out certainty.
Short yardage offense is in there, second and about 1.5. Morris cuts back inside and gets the first down. It looked as though he was going to be trapped for a loss, and he had the presence of mind to cut back inside where he had some blocking help, and he picks up a first down.
Yeah, right away you would think that that wasn't a very smart move by Morris to give that much ground, but he did turn it into something, and I think he wanted to set up his blockers. He let Lee Knight come out in front of him. Now they're threatening. They're down on the 20, and that's all because of Morris.
Ticats are below the league average in efficiency from inside this area. And Snipes, the linebacker, brings down the quarterback, Kerrigan, for a loss back to the 26th.
Bonner and Snipes both came in. Bonner picked up the block, and Snipes just came in clean because the guard had to block it. So Bonner's going to celebrate, too. He threw his arm up in help of celebrating. This is just a lot of defensive pressure. Both sides are blitzing whenever they get into those crucial downs.
Ottawa has the #1 sacker in the CFL in Bonner. He has 9. On second down, pass is caught over in the far corner of the field by Jamie Morris. He crawled into the end zone, but the official ruled that he was downed at the 2.
That's what John Gregory said. He wanted to get a mismatch. He wanted to get the running back on a linebacker. That's what he got. They picked up the blitz. Boom, he's down to the 1-yard line.
In game 1 of the Canada Cup, the best-of-3 series, Canada leads the United States 1-0. The game at the Montreal Forum, and to the delight of the Forum fans, a Montreal Canadian, Eric Desjardins, scored the game's first goal, 4:22 of the opening period. Canada leads the United States 1-0. Game 2 of that series takes place here at Cox Coliseum on Monday night. First and goal for the Hamilton Ticats. Jamie Morris to the end zone for a touchdown. a souvenir, his first CFL touchdown for the Hamilton Ticats.
Well, that whole drive has to be called Jamie Morris. I mean, he did everything you can do on a drive. He caught the ball, big play, down to the 2-yard line, and he took it all the way in. Watch him get a lead block by the shoe, and he's up over top. They got some nice drive back pressure, and Morris went right through for the touchdown. That whole drive was Jamie Morris.
Paul Osbaldiston adding the point after for an 11-2 lead, and John Gregory celebrates the touchdown by Jamie Morris. We had an interesting conversation with Morris last week over in Toronto. We talked about his running on behalf of Bo Schembechler with Michigan, but we asked about his ability to catch the football, and he said, yeah, I was a pretty good receiver in addition to picking up 1,000 yards, and he showed tremendous concentration on that Kerrigan pass to make the catch down at the 2-yard line.
He knew he had the linebacker beat, but he really had to judge the ball. He had to slow down, throttle down, let the ball come into his hands, and he gave away with his legs. He just completely relaxed with his legs, cradled that ball in. Look at him, he's really happy. And who said that I can't play when I'm 5'6"? Bo Schembechler told me that, but it didn't mean anything because Jamie Morris not only played at Michigan, he's playing pretty good here at Hamilton.
And he hopes that touchdown will be the first of many he will score in the Canadian Football League. Paul Osbaldiston kicking off with 2:42 remaining in the first half, and he'll put it into the end zone. And Drawhorn will concede a single point. It's now 12-2. An 85-yard single by Paul Osbaldiston.
The thing that made this play go, you got all these motion guys here, but this lead blocker and the surge of the line up here with Morris carrying the ball right over, that's what made the play work. Great surge by the offensive line. Lead blocker, Schermeyer came through. They really stood people up. And Morris finished it off.
First and 10 after the 85-yard kickoff single by Paul Osbaldiston from the 35-yard line. Damon Allen setting up the screen to Barnes. Barnes spinning his way close to a first down, stopped by Gary Wilkerson. 2:32 remaining in the half. 12-2 is the score. Hamilton in front.
What impresses me about Hamilton tonight, their defensive team is very active. Coach Gregory's made some moves in there. He's put David Bailey in, who's getting good upfield pressure. Mark Morantz is doing a good job, but the guys who are flying around out there is Brian Hill, John Moulton, and Peter Gistopoulos. Those backers are really moving around, doing a good job.
2nd and 1. Damon Allen keeps. He has a first down.
Allen, the ball carrier for the first down.
When you take a look at that Hamilton defensive unit, from a year ago, there are only 3 starters.
They've really made some moves, and I guess a lot of them were made initially by David Beckman, and John Gregory has come in, and he hasn't missed a beat. He's been putting those defensive people in there. He wants to see who his football players are.
In case you're wondering who they are, Peter Gistopoulos, Bobby Dawson, and Gary Wilkerson. Over the middle to Conrad. Hilk and Gistopoulos combined on bringing down David Conrad after a gain of 7. 1:55 is the time remaining in the first half. 12-2, Hamilton leads Ottawa.
I thought Damon showed good touch on that last play because he had gotten some pressure from Vernon Maxwell was coming inside and David Bailey coming outside. He had to show a little touch, and he delivered the ball.
2nd and 3, Ottawa. Allen completes the pass to Brown for a first down. Taurus Irvin grabs him and draws a penalty flag at the 48. That wasn't a smart play by Irvin. He had Brown down and then took a swipe at him as they were going down.
Well, as a coach, you never want to see that. That just gives the other team new life, gives them better field position, and it gets them upset.
Hamilton, major foul, unnecessary roughness, number 4, first down Ottawa.
We talked about Corus Irvin being a tough guy, but sometimes there's a fine line between being tough and being smart. I'd rather have a smart guy. Oh, he didn't quite get him, but the intent wasn't good.
First and 10 Ottawa, the ball at the Hamilton 33-yard line, 1:32 remaining in the half. 3 receivers left. Damon Allen rolls that way, throws that way. Gordon makes the catch. That should be a first down as they forced him out of bounds at the 22-yard line. Well, what the coaches told us about this young man is being verified so far in this opening half at Ivor Wynne Stadium. He can catch the football.
He looks like a receiver, just like Joe Faragelli said. I mean, he's got the moves, he's got the spats. When you have your shoes spatted, that means you're a receiver.
They'll measure this between the 21 and the 22, but from here it looks like a first down. And as they stretch out the chain, it will be a first down by a good yard. My eyesight isn't failing after all. I thought the line of scrimmage was about the 33.
You had the advantage of that close-up camera work, too. You got the best seat in the house. You know, Joe Faragelli's on that sideline. He can't see anything. He can chew gum, though.
The Ottawa bench at the other end of the field. First and 10 from the 21. Damon Allen quickly inside for Gerald Wilcox. Another first down inside the 10.
There's the meeting they had on the sideline. He told Gerald Wilcox, when I'm getting pressure, when I'm getting blitzed, I want you to look quick. You're the hot receiver, and this is what happened. He's getting pressure. You see Moulton coming in on him. He put it right in the inside. Wilcox took the football. They learned from that last mistake they had.
Damon Allen has now hit on 6 in a row. First and goal from inside the 10. To the end zone for Wilcox, incomplete. He had maneuvered in behind the safety, Todd Wiseman. Allen overthrew him.
Damon knew it was a blitz again. He tried to do the same thing, but he just got a little bit too much on the ball, and Wilcox was shaking his head. He said, I had the touchdown. Watch Allen bring it up from over the top.
Second and goal from inside the 10. 59 seconds remaining in the first half. 12-2 is the score. Hamilton leading. Damon Allen to the end zone. Touchdown to Brown. And when the Hamilton Ticats look back on this touchdown, that roughing penalty against Corus Irvin was a key to enabling the Ottawa Rough Riders to keep the drive alive and put it in the end zone. Damon Allen to Eddie Brown.
Eddie Brown's just single coverage, and when they're blitzed, they like to take the inside. Eddie Brown's only had, Joe Faragelli told us the other day, we got to throw the ball more to this guy. He's had 2 touchdowns already. That's 3 touchdowns on about 6 throws to him.
The point after by Terry Baker.
Baker has the number.
So the Ottawa Rough Riders will certainly get a lift from this late first half touchdown that brings them within 3 points. 125 members of the 65 Roses fan club from Ottawa have made the trip to the park of the non-perishable food donation.
Look at those headgears. They must have made their own headgears.
Tiger Cat Food Run 91, Thanksgiving Day, Monday.
Here's Damon Kent. He's getting pressure. He's got to deliver. Puts the ball right to the inside seam, and that is a nice catch by Eddie Brown.
James Ellingson was there to help Brown celebrate the major score. 12-9, Hamilton leading Ottawa as Terry Baker prepares to kick off.
We may get 50 points yet.
Well, they've certainly got some work to do in the second half to hit the half-century mark, but as we have seen on many occasions, high-scoring games often erupt in the second half in the Canadian Football League. Terry Wright on the kickoff return, bounced out of bounds as he brings it back to the 48 by Charles Gordon. That was a 22-yard run back after a 49-yard kickoff, and there is another penalty flag on this play. It seems that on every kickoff and punt return there has been a penalty, and this one is going against the Ottawa Rough Riders. So with 47 seconds remaining in the half, Ottawa has an opportunity to add to its 3-point lead.
Ottawa, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 39, first down Hamilton.
Charles Wright was guilty of the unsportsmanlike conduct call. It's 1st and 10 Hamilton at Ottawa's 51.
Well, they'll probably look back and say if it wasn't for that penalty, they wouldn't be in scoring position.
The fake to Morris. A quick release to Schremeyer. He's down at the 40-yard line for a first down.
Arnie Schremeyer, he's one of those guys, he's out here early, looking over that football field, knowing what he's got to do. He's such a consistent, tough ball player, and the coaches like him for his blocking.
The whistle goes, the clock starts, the pass was intended for DiPietro. It will be 2nd and 10. DiPietro, the all-time leader in the CFL, 698 receptions. That's 48 more than Tommy Joe Coffey. Tommy Scott had 649, Tony Gabriel 614, Terry Evanson 600. 4 of those 5 receivers played with the Hamilton Ticats.
I must tell you something. He hit Patrick Wayne on the head with the ball, Kerrigan did.
Kerrigan looking for Morris, incomplete. Daniel Hunter was defending against Morris, but Kerrigan was under considerable pressure. Angelo Sipes and Glenn Kulka were both going after Kerrigan. Snipes had a pretty good shot at him.
Well, Morris is out there, but he got swamped right there. He could have made the catch. I don't know if it would have helped. Wouldn't have made the first down.
Kulka did not play last week in the loss to the BC Lions. Paul Osbaldiston with a 47-yard field goal attempt. He hooked it wide. Anthony Drawhorn is going to try and get out of the end zone, and he'll succeed, running out of bounds at the 5-yard line with 23 seconds remaining in the half.
Anthony Drawhorn, who's intercepted the 5-yard line.
Well, John Gregory's not happy with that. Osbaldiston has kicked a 56-yarder this year, so he felt he was well within range, and the wind really isn't that significant.
Hamilton Tigers would like to welcome the 65 Georgia Sports Club from Ottawa.
I think the Ottawa Rough Riders will be quite content now to run out the clock as they are looking at 1st and 10 from their own 5-yard line.
Either that or put a Hail Mary up to Eddie Brown.
On the change of possession, of course, the clock does not start until the ball is snapped. And Damon Allen just drives straight ahead. He only gets 1 yard. But unless the Hamilton Ticats call a timeout now, which they do, the clock stops at 21 seconds. Andre Francis.
There's the Samurai war hero. Getting a little knee problem there. You know, Andre has a propensity to stay with those receivers, and the big tall receivers, they kick him in the knees a lot. They actually run down the field together. Their kneecaps start clicking. It looks like he's got some knee problems, but he'll be back in the second half.
Joe Faragelli with some words for Damon Allen with 21 seconds remaining.
Andre's probably one of the better one-on-one pass coverage defensive backs in the league. He's not a big guy. It's tough for him to come up and make a lot of tackles. But one-on-one, man-to-man coverage, he can stay with anybody. Did you see that, family?
I did indeed. There aren't many, but most of them are decorated tonight at Ivor Wynne Stadium. That takes the clock to 17 seconds. But now, having used the timeout, the Ottawa Rough Riders will be able to take the remaining seconds off the scoreboard, barring penalty, of course. The clock has now started, and Damon Allen glances back just to make sure those seconds are ticking away. He has 20 seconds in which to put the ball into play.
Remember last week they wanted to do a kick back when they got in this situation. They were trying to force BC to punt, and then Joe Faragelli put his kicker back out on the field. They were going to try to get a single out of it.
David Allen glancing back at the clock to make sure he did not err, that he did take the final 17 seconds off the clock before the ball was snapped. So at halftime at Iverwood Stadium, Hamilton leads Ottawa 12-9.
Welcome to Live at the Half. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers have been Grey Cup champions in 2 of the last 3 seasons, thanks in large part to outstanding kicking from Trevor Kennard and Bob Cameron. So it's big news, and one of them is unable to play, and Kennard won't for about the next 2 months.
A 37-yard field goal attempt by Trevor Kennard to win the ball game. It's good.
Many Winnipeg fans can remember only Trevor Kennard as the team's place kicker. That's because he's had the job for a dozen years. Size has never stopped the 5'6" Kennard from engaging in the physical part of the game. He did not hesitate to step up and make a touchdown-saving tackle on Saskatchewan's Willis Jaycox last Sunday. But Kennard broke some bones in his back, and now the leading scorer in Bomber history may need 6 to 8 weeks to heal.
Trevor, should you not be lying on a stretcher or wearing one of those halos? Because with all respect, you don't look like somebody who's broken bones in his back.
That's right, Scott. When I hang out with the other players now in the training room, I see some casts. I see guys in the whirlpool areas, and I really don't look injured. But where the injury took place in the lower lumbar area, there's really nothing to cast there. And transverse process just need time, and the healing process, they say, is going to be approximately 6 to 8 weeks.
Many people think they have this figured out. Veteran kicker suffers injury late in career, has a chance to reflect on past accomplishments, and likely will decide that those accomplishments are quite enough and will retire gracefully. That's what many think, but I suspect that you're here to say that you'll live to kick another day.
Who's ever writing those scripts hasn't had a look at my mortgage payments and putting kids through school and hockey equipment. I mean, this is expensive stuff. I really have to play, and I want to play. Every player on the Blue Bomber Football Club going into training camp had a goal of playing in front of the hometown fans on Grey Cup Day, and that's something that I really cling to.
It's the second time that you've done this. You had basically the same injury in 1986. Is there not a message here, and that is that you should stay out of the way of the big guys?
Well, if that's a message, I probably shouldn't have laced up with the Oil Patch Oilers when I was 14 years of age. I've always been the smallest player on the team, and anytime you're out on the football field, especially on a kickoff, as the safety man on the kickoff team, you're the last man back, and I had to make a tackle, and I did, and I suffered for it, but that's the name of the game.
The guy who's taken your place, Troy Westwood, has been called by you the Bomber kicker of the future. I'm not sure that when the season began you thought his future would be now. Does it make you a tad nervous to be on the sidelines watching him with a chance to shine?
Well, I have to be a little careful what I say, because I like Troy so much. He's a tremendous kicker. There's no doubt. He's also 24 years of age, and I think most rookies come in at around 21, 22. They aren't quite as mature. And I think Troy's going to handle this very, very well. He's got great leg strength. He has a tremendous attitude. And I am a little nervous, yes.
Well, we hope to see you kick again this season.
We hope so, too. Thanks, Scott.
Thanks for your time.
Kennard recuperates in Winnipeg, and in Vancouver, depending on the toss, Troy Westwood is heir apparent, could be kicking off for the Bombers in about an hour and a half against the Lions. And here in Hamilton, Ticats lead by a field goal after 30 minutes of play. We're a big big outfit, the CBC, prepared to offer a cheap trophy and a 1976 Olympic shirt to the speedster who accumulates the most yardage on kickoff and punt returns. Saskatchewan's Willis Jaycox continues to lead our return to sender competition. Gizmo Williams remains his most serious competition. The Giz, of course, a major fan of CBC outerwear. Well, astronomical yardage on kickoff and punt returns has only been part of this record-setting CFL season, a season that's showing no signs of abating 11 weeks in. The record book is under assault in a season in which it often takes 50 points to win. 4 years ago, Gizmo Williams broke through as a CFL star by returning 4 punts for touchdowns. This year, in 10 games, Gizmo already has done it 4 times. He says if kickers don't boot the ball away from him, he should be able to break 3 more, smashing his single-season record. 2 years ago, when he was with Edmonton, Tony Hunter amassed a league record for punt return yardage. Williams consistently manages significant returns, and as a result, with 8 weeks to go in the season, he's already within 200 yards of Hunter's record. At his current pace, Gizmo will shatter the record by almost 600 yards. Only last year, as Ottawa was being scored against a lot, Stacey Dossie had a chance to establish the record for kick return yardage. This year, because Saskatchewan is being scored against frequently, Willis Jaycox has been busy on kickoff returns, and he, even without a nickname, is on record pace, headed for 1,500 yards. It was 16 years ago that Calgary's Willie Burton flirted with a 2,000-yard rushing season. He did set a single-season record. Many great backs have come close to Burton's mark. This year, Winnipeg's Robert Mims figures to break it. Mims has had 7 100-yard games. He's on record pace. Mind you, he'll have had the benefit of 2 extra games. Even Pat Abruzzi's single-season touchdown mark that stood for 35 years is in danger. Edmonton's Blake Marshall, in the midst of a career season, already has bulled his way into the end zone 14 times. The Canadian running back strained his knee last week, but Marshall should play this week and maybe will stay on his record pace of 25 touchdowns. It was in the mid-'80s that CFL offenses really began to explode, and Winnipeg's James Murphy caught a record 116 passes. In this extraordinary season, Calgary's Alan Pitts is the league's top receiver, and he should not be left out of the record books. If he stays on his current pace, he'll catch 8 more than Murphy did. When he led the Eskimos, Warren Moon was one of the greatest quarterbacks the CFL has ever seen. So what does it say about BC's Doug Flutie when he's in the process of erasing Moon's single-season record for passing yardage? He can be counted on to pass for anywhere from 300 to 400 yards a week. He could finish with 1,000 more yards to his credit than Moon had 8 years ago. CFL records should be written in pencil. There have been a number of seasons where things have been wild before Labor Day and then settled down afterwards. This season, though, has defied that convention, perhaps until tonight. But, Don, there's 30 minutes left for these teams to crank it up to the 50-point level.
Well, they'll have to explode in the second half, Scott. 12-9 is the score. It was 4-2 at the end of the first quarter. The first touchdown of the game scored by the man we talked about at the start of the telecast, Jamie Morris of the Hamilton Ticats. He really put the entire drive together, Joe.
Well, you have to call that whole drive Jamie Morris's drive because he ran alertly with the football, made the cutbacks, did a lot of good things, and then when he got himself one-on-one with a linebacker, there he was down on the 2-yard line, and he took it in from there. But on the play of the half, Jamie is outside. He's man-to-man on the backer. Kerrigan sees blitz coming, looks downfield, and as he delivers the football, Morris has to throttle down. Watch him throttle down. Wait for that ball to come to him. Brian Bonner can't defend it. It came right over the top. Good play by Morris. Touchdown on the next play. And that's the guy we talked about.
Tremendous concentration by Morris with Bonner on him to follow the flight of the ball as he was going down and make the catch.
Well, he knew he had the backer. He knew the ball was going to be coming to him. So what he did, he just throttled down. And sometimes that easy catch, that's not the easiest one to catch because you have to really concentrate.
The Rough Riders, before the half ended, came back. Damon Allen throwing to Eddie Brown for a touchdown. It's 12-9, the halftime score here at Ivor Wynne.
Ron Lancaster's return to coaching with the Edmonton Eskimos has been a success, in part because the Eskimos have the CFL's top punt returner. Not even the officials can stop Henry Gizmo Williams. Adam Rita's Toronto Argonauts have their own arsenal of weapons. One of them, Rocket Ismail, who can line up at any number of positions, including punt returner. Edmonton at Toronto, Saturday on the CFL on CBC.
Welcome back to Iverwin Stadium. Really not much to choose between the Ticats and the Rough Riders statistically in the first half. 2 turnovers by the Rough Riders, one on a third down gamble that failed and the other on an interception. 12-9 is the score. Hamilton leading Ottawa, and both teams have been running the ball. Ottawa on the ground 19 times as opposed to 15 passes. Hamilton running the ball 10 times. Kerrigan has also thrown 15. He has not had as much success through the air as has Damon Allen. Allen completing 9 of 15. Kerrigan 5 of 15.
The 2 turnovers are surprising because that's not the kind of football that Joe Faragelli likes to play. And the Ottawa's team is the least penalized team in the league, although it doesn't look like it tonight.
Anthony Drawhorn on the return. Terry Wright tried to make the tackle, but Ken Avrere beat him there. Wright was the second man in on the play, a 20-yard return. Wright is looking for that special teams award. There's no question about that, Joe.
I wonder what they're going to give him. The special teams award, they get anything from shoes, sporting goods shoes. Sometimes they get free dinners and things like that. The coaches like to fire those guys up because they very rarely get any recognition. Special teams guys don't usually get recognized unless they're down there making tackles and really contributing. And Faragelli knows that he's got to have good coverage to get that good field position. Look at him with the sunglasses on. The sun's not shining, Joe.
Well, football is certainly Joe Faragelli's life.
That's Scott Oak, isn't it?
One of his many assignments at Iverwin tonight. Draw play with Barnes, and he has a gain of 5. It will be 2nd and 5. John Moten made the tackle.
That's the trap play. They like to run so well. I'm surprised they haven't come out with a bootleg from that. Damon Allen runs a nice bootleg off that same action.
Ottawa on 2nd down conversions batting 50%. They've been good on 8 of 16 attempts.
No huddle, hurry up offense. Damon's calling the signals and trying to pick out the defensive secondary.
Penalty flag. There was an Ottawa receiver who moved across the line of scrimmage prior to the ball being snapped. James Ellingson, I believe, he was trying to time his run to hit the line at the same time the ball was snapped, but he was across the line prior to the ball being snapped.
They're playing so many mind games out there.
Ottawa, legal procedure, number 85, 2nd down repeated.
James Ellingson was, in fact, the man guilty of that offside call.
Oh, that's it for hitting the referee. That's a penalty. You're not allowed to hit the referee. Tackled the wrong guy. Well, Todd Wiseman's juking around as the free safety. Watch him come up. He's faking to Damon Allen like he's going to blitz. Now he's going to come over and cover. They're doing so much talking, it's almost like a committee meeting.
They repeat the 2nd down, 2nd and 10. Damon Allen is caught from behind by David Bailey. A further loss back to the 30-yard line.
David Bailey's the guy that came in last week, and we were really impressed with him. And there he is coming over Illebrun. He's driving, throwing guys. Olay, he gave a guy, and now he's coming in and takes Damon Allen right around the left ankle. That's a good effort by Bailey. Those defensive linemen hate quarterbacks. When they get a chance to get one, they eat them up.
Terry Baker stands at his own 15-yard line for this 3rd down punt. Here comes some pressure up the middle, but the Rough Riders manage to pick it up. Mazzoli waits for it at the 30. There's a penalty flag at the 45-yard line. And we'll sort it out for you in a moment after that 22-yard run back by Mazzoli. But first, let's join Scott Oak.
Well, Don, David Bailey just had a sack for the Ticats, but the CFL's all-time leading sack leader, Grover Covington, is healthy and in the stands because he's on the Ticats practice roster. Grover, do you understand the move by the Ticats to look at younger players?
But the thing is, I know that they have to start looking at the future. And, you know, they got a lot of young guys in here that, you know, have a lot of speed. And, you know, it makes me think of myself when I was a little younger back in 81, 82. So I understand my role, and what I want to do is be positive around the players and just try to encourage them and just try to show some pointers and still be available to play, because I'm healthy and ready to play.
I'll summarize this then by saying that you're accepting this move by the Ticats with the same class that's characterized your decade-long career.
Oh, thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, Grover. Don?
One of the outstanding all-time stars in the CFL, Grover Covington. A rough play call against the Ticats takes them back to the 15. Champion with an excellent catch. No, it's intercepted by... Well, Flagel grabbed the ball after Champion made the catch.
Well, remember, the ground can make you fumble. Leo Cahill told us a long time ago.
I thought Champion had made the catch, and then suddenly Scott Flagel is going the other way. It must have bounced out of his hands when he came down. It did, and Scott Flagel scooped it up, but the ground cannot make you fumble, and that is a reception for Champion and a first down at the 38. Ernie Schremeyer is piled up at the line of scrimmage. As a matter of fact, he may have lost a yard.
We're hardly seeing one set where they don't blitz the linebackers. It's amazing. Both teams are either blitzing linebackers or defensive backs. Both teams trying to pressure the opposing quarterbacks. I think the running game is what keeps them honest. Schremeyer, of course, ran right into the blitzing linebacker and didn't have any room to go.
Champion wide to the left, Winfield to the right, 2nd and 11. Rocky DiPietro is the man Kerrigan was looking for. DiPietro and Flagel have some words as the two of them collided as DiPietro was looking back for that pass.
Flagel was trying to disguise the coverage. He didn't want to show it to the quarterback, so he laid off of DiPietro. Had that ball been thrown better, Rocky would have had a long, long way to go and a nice reception. And the ball's already out of his hand before Flagel got there. Had he been able to catch that ball, he'd have had a long way to go.
Osbaldiston's 3rd down punt. It bounces away from Drawhorn. Give you one guess. Yes, that's Cherry Wright. Make the tackle on Anthony Drawhorn. A 46-yard punt by Osbaldiston. Well, Joe, earlier you talked about some reward that Terry Wright might receive for his special teams play. Maybe he's just interested in keeping his job.
Or maybe he's going to take Drawhorn's head and put it up on the wall. He was going after him on that one.
1st and 10, the toss to Barnes, and very quickly it is Brian Hilt breaking through to make a tackle, and he celebrates a sack.
Ticats are impressive. They're very active on defense. They've sort of changed their whole complexion. You get guys like Hilk and Moulton in there. They're so quick. You can get that front four doing a lot of things.
Out of the University of Akron, Brian Hilk has made some key tackles tonight for the Hamilton Ticats. The Ticats showing blitz. Here they come. Damon Allen is run out of bounds. Joe Campbell was after him from behind, and Moulton came up to close off any sideline running room, but there's also a penalty flag back at the line of scrimmage.
Now Damon was looking. He tried to get some help from some of those receivers. Your receivers have got to go into a scramble pattern. When the quarterback scrambles, receivers have got to help. They've got to help the quarterback. 3rd down.
Brian Illebrun was guilty of the holding call. He actually hauls down Bailey.
That wasn't holding, that was kidnapping. He got a hold of him and just brought him right down with him.
Well, they certainly had Ottawa outnumbered at the line of scrimmage. They were sending everybody, and they forced the Rough Riders to punt on 3rd down. An excellent kick by Baker. Mazzoli waits for it at the 30. There's another penalty flag. as Mazzoli brings it inside the 45, but there's a penalty flag on the near side of the field away from the play. A 39-yard return by Mazzoli.
Oh, the fans are upset, and I'm getting a little upset too. Every kick there's a penalty. Now somebody's either got to start coaching, or somebody's got to stop throwing flags.
That took place over on the near sidelines. The play was over on the far sidelines at about the same time Mazzoli was being tackled. I think there are times that officials could use some judgment that was going to have absolutely no bearing on the play.
Hamilton, legal block, number 35, first down. You know, one of the most exciting things about the Canadian Football League is the punt returning and the kick returning. And when we see them brought back so often, I mean, come on, let's have a little chance here to hit somebody on the side. That's legal. You're allowed to hit him on the side. There's the special teams coaches. And I don't blame them. They should be upset. I mean, you're allowed to get your headgear on that man. If you're on the side and you screen him, that's not a clip. The idea is to protect players from blocking below the waist and to not grab him. I didn't see either one of those things happen.
So another good return by Mazzoli goes for naught. Kerrigan throws, completes the pass for a first down.
Kerrigan pass completes the Tony Champion.
Champion decked by Charles Wright. Charles Wright into the ball game as the Rough Riders have done some juggling with the injury to Andre Francis. Charles Gordon has moved to the left corner, and Charles Wright has taken over at the right corner.
Watch Tony Champion go up for the football. This is when you're not even worried about how you return to land. I mean, he just went up, concentrated on the ball. It's a good job.
First and 10 from the 39-yard line. Bonner was pressuring quarterback Mike Kerrigan. Lee Knight, the ball carrier, talked by Angelo Snipes, tackled by Angelo Snipes.
Well, John Gregory likes to get that football out there to the running backs, particularly after a nice pass play. But Snipes, unblocked, comes over and makes the stop for about 3-yard gain. That's what Angelo wants. He wants those people up front, Kropke, Lewis. He wants them to control the 3 center and guards, and then he's able to scrape off and make tackles. Of course, this guy looks like he's already been tackled.
Second and 7, 8:42 remaining in the third quarter. Hamilton leading Ottawa 12-9. Here comes that pressure again. Open is Winfield. First down at the 46. Kerrigan and Winfield read that perfectly.
Winfield worked inside, which is what you do when you're getting blitz. Ottawa's sending everybody. High-pressure defense. Kerrigan knows the blitz is coming. He knows he's got to throw it quick. Sees Winfield break to the inside. Charles Gordon too late to come over to stop it.
First and 10 Hamilton. The Hamilton Ticats now at Ottawa's 47. Kropke is the man who gets to quarterback Mike Kerrigan after Craig Stuman applied the initial pressure.
Stuman came blitzing in from the corner, and then what Coach was talking about, you got to make Kerrigan reload, and he had to reload, but he never got a chance to shoot.
That's Kropke's initial quarterback sack this year. Joe Farragelli hasn't been juggling those down linemen as much in this second half as he had indicated he would. Champion got into some problems over there as he tried to get off the line of scrimmage. Charles Wright had him tied up.
Well, they get upset, the receivers, when they're getting bumped around, but they're allowed to be bumped within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. I mean, within 1 yard of the line of scrimmage. They're allowed to get a shot, and the defender's allowed to defend his area. So they've got to stop worrying about it. One of the things that Hamilton has to do is run better pass routes. Both Beckman and Gregory said that. They've got to run more precise pass routes.
Osbaldiston's third down punt is fielded by Gordon. And he is forced out of bounds by Lee Knight with 6:49 remaining in the third quarter. That was a 38-yard kick by Osbaldiston. Eric Desjardins of the Montreal Canadiens responsible for the only goal. 1-0, Canada leading the United States. Game 1 in the best-of-3 series for the Canada Cup. About 18 minutes remaining in the second period. Desjardins scored at 4:22 of the first. First and 10, Ottawa. The ball is at the 21. Damon Allen setting up the screen to Barnes, but read well by Brian Hilk. Joe, I'm impressed with the way Hilk has played in his first football game in the CFL.
Oh, he's an enthusiastic guy. And, you know, playing at the University of Akron, they play in that Ohio Valley Conference. There's a lot of passing in that league, so it's served him well to learn how to play against the passes in the Canadian Football League. But he's got a good future.
Second and 14, as that attempted screen resulted in a 4-yard loss. Allen pulls it down, looks again, flips it out to Conrad, and Conrad is bounced out of bounds at the 30.5 by Wilkerson. That will be very close to a first down.
Well, Joe's happy because his quarterback showed some mobility on this play, showed some leadership. He's trying to get open, trying to find somebody out there. David Conrad was a guy who worked his way over, but with third and more, Bailey's going nowhere. He's getting double teamed. Rob Smith's got a hold of him and bumped him back over. It looks like it's over, well over a yard, and they sent the punt team in.
Even though they did measure, Coach Faragelli had already made his decision. He had sent out the punt team. 5:46 is the time remaining in the third quarter. The third quarter during the season has been the least productive for the Ticats. They've only scored 16 third-quarter points this year. They haven't got any so far tonight. Mazzoli. This will be another good return. He may alter that third-quarter shutout, and he does. Nick Mazzoli, a 75-yard punt return.
Now Nick gets the ball and he dribbles it, and a lot of times that happens. That lets the defense get downfield, but look at the blocking he gets. Good job of finding a seam, and then he outruns everybody, and Nick Mazzoli can run like he did in Simon Fraser so many times. Good speed by Nick Mazzoli.
A Simon Fraser graduate, a #1 draft choice of the Hamilton Ticats, opted instead to attend the training camp with the Seattle Seahawks and then signed with the Ticats on August the 8th, his 23rd birthday.
When Mazzoli dropped the ball, he had to come back, take a look at it, but that let the coverage come down tight. Now he got a seam. And like it happens so many times, when you get a seam, he's gone. He just outruns everybody. That's an All-American, the first All-American is Simon Fraser, Division II.
Mazzoli, a Hamilton product, and he delivers for the Ticats on a 75-yard punt return. It's 19-9 with the point after by Paul Osbaldiston.
Well, John Gregory said that he wanted to get the special teams to where they were competitive, and I know he must be happy. They've worked really hard. Now, Gregory had a full week going into this game, and he said they really concentrated on special teams, and those are the things that pay off. That extra work on special teams, it's starting to show.
Gordon on the kickoff return, and he is tripped up by number 7, Terry Wright. A 23-yard run back. Scott?
Well, Don, on the sidelines, Andre Francis, starting cornerback for the Rough Riders, is done for the night because of the injury of the 90s, the dreaded pulled hamstring. How did it happen?
Well, I think the injury originally happened in the first quarter. I was flying down the field covering a deep route, and Earl Winfield pushed me, and I felt a little trauma. And they activated itself again in the second quarter, but I'll be back next week.
You think you can play next week? If not a lot of guys come back in 2 weeks or 1 week from a pulled hamstring.
Yeah, but I'm cut from a different mold, you know.
I'll buy that, Andre. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Don?
Andre is absolutely right when he says he's cut from a different mold. He played for you, Joe, in Montreal.
And I agree with him. He is cut from a different mold.
Screen pass to Conrad. Conrad is tackled at the 39. Before I get all the folks in Markham, Ontario upset with me, I believe I said that Mazzoli was from Hamilton. He's actually from Markham, Ontario.
We have to be specific, right?
Well, let's watch this man, number 7, Terry Wright, make another tackle on special teams. That's how it's done.
Well, he's done a lot of that tonight. He's doing the right thing.
With the W in front of the R. Barnes breaks one tackle, breaks the second tackle, and gets beyond the 50-yard line before being stopped by Vernon Maxwell.
Well, you probably wonder why we said at the top of the game, going into the ball game, that the running backs were going to have so much to do with the offense tonight. Not only running, but catching the ball. When you blitz, you have to cover the running backs, usually with somebody you don't want to cover them with, like a linebacker. And the running backs are usually faster than linebackers, so there's Barnes beating Maxwell.
1st and 10 from the 51. Damon Allen is forced to pull it down. Now he throws incomplete. Gerald Wilcox really took a hit from Bobby Dawson as he was reaching for the ball.
Well, Bobby Dawson hit him where there's no pads. Receivers don't like to get hit in that area. It's where you breathe, too, so it makes it double tough. Watch Dawson come up on him. When you're extended with your arms up, oh, that just knocks a little wind out of you.
Damon Allen has completed 13 of 20 attempts for 102 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He's looking at 2nd and 10. Here comes the pressure. He gets the pass away to James Ellingson. He fumbles the football. It's picked up by the Rough Riders, and Wilcox carries to the 11.
Complete to Ellingson.
Well, that's the old hitch and trailer. Modified. That's a modified style of. Weisman was coming on up on the blitz. Allen saw that, but watch, Allen is pressured here. He's almost smothered, but he does get the football away. Bailey was all over him. He got the football away. Nice catch by Ellingson, and then that was a dribble and another pickup.
29 yards for Ellingson, 19 for Wilcox, for a net gain of 48.
See, Bailey's all over him. He's lucky he got the ball off.
1st and 10, Damon Allen flips it out to Barnes. He'll score.
Damon Allen's pass is complete to Reggie Barnes for the Rough Riders touchdown.
We talked about the hit that Wilcox took earlier. You saw that he is having some problems breathing on the sidelines. That pass, Allen to Barnes, a play similar to one that worked successfully last week against the BC Lions.
They send 4 receivers to one side, and that running back is usually the target. That's the guy they like to get it to because the backer can't possibly get out there to cover him.
Terry Baker adds the point after. And again, we have a 3-point ball game here at Iberwin Stadium with 1:54 remaining in the third quarter. And we'll return with the Ottawa kickoff after this. The Rough Riders came back very quickly. 5 plays. They moved the football 74 yards. An 11-yard pass to Barnes, producing the touchdown. His 3rd touchdown this season as a pass receiver. His 3rd in 2 games. He had a pair against BC. Nick Mazzoli looking for some blocking help, trying to outrun Charles Wright, but he can't get away from him. An 18-yard run back. Mazzoli earlier with that 75-yard punt return touchdown. There's another flag and an illegal block being assessed against Ottawa.
Making the tackle, penalty marker on the play.
Well, Reggie Barnes does so much for that team. He can run the traps, he can run the search, he can catch that football.
Number 7.
Watch him look the ball in. Not a hard, that was not an easy catch, but he took it, got his hips turned back around and went in for the score.
Well, Terry Wright has really been involved in special teams, making tackles for Hamilton, that time an illegal block as he knocked down Charles Gordon. 1st and 10, the ball is at the 21. Handoff inside to Jamie Morris, resulting in a gain of 6, maybe even 7 yards. Anthony Drawhorn and Lloyd Lewis combined to make the tackle.
Morris has that potential to break tackles because he is so low to the ground. He reminds you of a John Volpe, or he looks like a Pinball Clements. He's underneath your pads and he keeps digging those legs.
2nd and 4, Hamilton. We're into the final minute of the 3rd quarter. Tony Champion makes the catch at the 52. A gain of 25.
That's just a good throw, good team up here. Kerrigan puts that air under the football. Tony Champion gets the separation, pulls the ball in. Nice combination.
Nice touch by Mike Kerrigan.
Yeah.
Put that ball over the head of the defender, Charles Wright.
Put it the only place he could catch it. Tony Champion adjusted well.
1st and 10 from the 52. Penalty flag. Jamie Morris runs into Scott Flagel. He initially was pushing Flagel back, and then the safety prevailed and won the battle. But there was a penalty flag on the far side of the field. Angelo Snipes may have been offside.
Once again, Kerrigan probably anticipating the blitz, delayed the count to let them jump.
Ottawa, offside, number 91. 1st down repeated.
It was indeed Angelo Snipes who moved prematurely. It will be 1st and 5 now. The ball at the 53 of Ottawa.
I think Kerrigan's finding out how to control the blitz. That's to go in long snaps, long counts. That gets the defense jumping.
That time he went on the quick count. And Jamie Morris will run out of room on the far side of the field. 1 second remains in the 3rd quarter. Patrick Wayne came over to make the tackle.
They just strung that play out. There was no place for Morris to go. He wanted to get around the corner.
Well, apparently that was the final play of the 3rd quarter. 19-16, Hamilton leads. In game 1 of the best-of-3 Canada Cup Series, Canada leads the United States 2-0 in the 2nd period at the Montreal Forum. Eric Desjardins in the 1st period. Steve Larmer set up by Wayne Gretzky in the 2nd. But the great one has left the ice with about 11 minutes remaining after being checked heavily into the boards by Gary Suter. The ball comes loose as Kerrigan is hit, and it's picked up by Patrick Wayne. He loses it, but I think Brian Bonner may have got it back. Yes, he did. Angelo Snipes with the initial contact on Mike Kerrigan.
Kerrigan comes back. He's getting pressure from Snipes, and the ball just comes right out of his arm. So watch the work here. Patrick Wayne picks the ball up. He fumbles the ball. but a good effort coming over by Bonner to recover the ball. Coach Faragelli said that he wanted to have a pressure defense. He knows you give up big plays on pressure defenses, but you also get turnovers.
1st and 10 from the 45. The Riders trailing by 3 points. Barnes battles his way to the 40, a gain of about 5. Statistically, the Rough Riders have a slight edge, but they trail by 3.
I think that's the turnovers. If they hadn't had the 2 turnovers, it would be a very even ball game at this point.
Second and 5. Allen comes back to Eddie Brown, who has scored the lone touchdown. He gets a 1st down. He stopped at the 32. In that August 24th game, when Ottawa beat Hamilton 24-19, Hamilton led 16-13 at the half and 18-13 after 3 quarters, but 11 straight points in the 4th quarter resulted in an Ottawa victory. 2 veteran Canadians concerned with what they are witnessing, Wally Zatilny and Rocky DiPietro. Gordon out of bounds at the 27, a gain of 5.
Damon Allen, I think, has found himself a wide receiver. I mean, he's really happy with Gordon, and you can tell he's got some confidence by the way he calls Gordon's number so often. And then he's got a throwback to Eddie Brown, which he employed the play before this. So I think he's starting to feel good about his wide receivers.
Second and 5. Allen will run. He's got some room. He gets a 1st down inside the 20-yard line.
Allen's calling a lot of plays from the line of scrimmage. He's calling audibles. He's checking off. He reads the coverages. He's been keeping his eye on the free safety. And whenever he sees Todd Wiseman start to come over to cover one side or the other, he's been able to determine where the blitz is coming. Now these guys are saying this is what we do when we get back in this ball game. Jamie, we want you to get down deep, one-on-one.
Damon Allen fake, didn't fool John Moulton. Moulton stays with Allen, but the quarterback escapes and scores.
You got to credit the receivers with that. They stayed with their defenders. He gave Damon Allen the opportunity to get it going. Watch Damon cut back inside of the block on Todd Wiseman. Watch Palmer come up, get a nice block here on Wiseman, giving Damon Allen, there it is, giving Damon Allen the chance to cut it back. He's in for the touchdown. 85 what? It's the kind of game Damon Allen needs.
John Congemi into hold for the point after by Terry Baker. And for the first time in the football game, the Ottawa Rough Riders and will return with the Ottawa kickoff after this. Damon Allen, who ranks 6th in CFL rushing statistics, ran that one into the end zone for the go-ahead touchdown from 18 yards out. After the fumble recovery, it took Ottawa just 5 plays to score a touchdown. Jamie Morris fumbled the kickoff, got it back, and he's upset by Brian Bonner at the 32-yard line. Well, in the Canada Cup, in the 2nd period, it's now Canada 2, the United States 1. Gary Suter of the Calgary Flames has scored for the U.S. That's in the 2nd period. Game 2 of the series takes place here at Copps Coliseum in Hamilton on Monday night.
You got to think Damon Allen's ability to scramble has weakened a little bit on that defensive line. Morantz and Bailey and some of the defensive linemen look like they're getting tired.
Scott Flagel was coming on a blitz, and Scott Flagel from behind managed to make the tackle on Jamie Morris.
It's a good thing Scott Flagel adjusted because Jamie Morris had some go. It's incredible how many times Ottawa has blitzed. Watch Flagel, number 14, Right side. He already came up, and then he just makes a shoestring tackle to save it.
On second down, Earl Winfield makes the catch at the 50.
Pass complete to Winfield.
He caught that pass in front of Charles Gordon.
And Todd Wiseman's looking things over. What Wiseman is saying is, gee, I'm doing just about what Flagle's doing tonight. We got to cover a lot of ground as a safety in this game. Both safeties are getting a workout. They got to cover almost everybody on the field.
First and 10 from the 50, 10:44 remaining. They fake the reverse to Morris. The flag on the play as the intended receiver, Earl Winfield, was bounced out of bounds rather vigorously by safety Scott Flagle and Charles Gordon.
Ottawa, forward pass interference in the 26th, first down Hamilton.
Charles Gordon was called by the officials, and that's a first down Hamilton. The ball is at the 49.
Yeah, Charles gave him a real tight hug so that he wouldn't get free.
Morris spinning off one tackle, but he can't escape Patrick Wayne. The pickup of 2, it will be second and 8, 10:14 remaining in the game. 23-19, Ottawa leads.
Crank it up, Don. There's going to be a blitz coming. I got a feeling. Watch out, Scott. That's why you lift weights, son. He works out every day. He has to.
I think Scott should have challenged him. Champion makes a great catch over Charles Wright. Charles Wright couldn't have played that one much better.
Perfect coverage, perfect pass, and a perfect catch. Charles Wright was on top of it. This is the kind of game the champion hasn't had in a long time. And look at him pull that ball in. That's a good throw by Kerrigan, knowing where the coverage was. He put it away from Charles Wright. Champion rose to the task.
A 21-yard gain. It's first and 10 from the 22. Schremeyer puts his shoulder down and keeps on driving to about the 15-yard line. I don't know why Scott Oak didn't put his shoulder down over on the sidelines and lowered into the chest of Mike Kerrigan.
He said he would like to be a live coward instead of a dead hero.
Fun to be a live commentator.
A live commentator instead of a dead hero. Flagle got a little upset that Schremeyer wouldn't go down, but hey, Flagle, remember, Scott, you were young once, too. He's trying to rip the ball out of his hands, and Schreemeyer's a pretty strong guy. Look at him. The shoe, he loves to keep digging his legs. He's one of those guys, the more work he gets, the happier he is. Now he's saying they hit me in the back of the head.
We remind you that this program is copyrighted and is strictly for the private use of our audience. Any reproduction, retransmission, exhibition, or distribution in whole or in part without the express written consent of the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation is strictly prohibited.
There's going to be a battle of the flags there. Some Rough Rider fans came down. There's 3 busloads. And
well, either that bike is too small or his feet are too big.
I don't think he's an athlete.
Lee Knight comes into the game to replace Schremeyer. Second and 5, Hamilton. Kerrigan's pass complete to Champion. Touchdown. Champion put a big move on Charles Wright.
Watch Kerrigan on a 3-step drop. He gets it right through Patrick Wayne's hands, almost into your living room. Nice move by Champion. Shook loose one defender, and then it was academic on the second. Champion's having a game like the old days. Who said he was washed up?
Paul Osbaldiston restores Hamilton's 3-point lead. with 8:49 remaining. We'll be back with the Ticat kickoff after this.
$25 gift certificate.
Well, apart from scoring the touchdown, what John Gregory will be most pleased with is the fact that the Ticats were able to put together a 77-yard, 7-play drive.
And that was a good drive. I mean, there were times when you knew that Ottawa was going to be blitzing, and the thing that helped was that Kerrigan alertly called that blitz checkoff. Watch Kerrigan. He's pleased with himself because he engineered that drive. There were many times he was getting pressure. He put the ball right through Patrick Wayne's hands to get it out to Champion on the touchdown. And my gosh, look at those guys on the practice roster. They'll get their chance to play someday.
Well, the mascot isn't going to get a chance to play, but he is having fun here at Iverwin Stadium tonight. 26-23, the Ticats lead Ottawa. Anthony Drawhorn starts out from the 15-yard line, and he runs out of room in front of the Ottawa bench at the 34. A 22-yard run back after a 62-yard kickoff.
One of the things you have to do in Hamilton Stadium, you've got to save your people because there's a dugout behind there. You've got to catch your people coming off the field before they go into the dugout. And I don't know that some of these young Ottawa guys caught Drawhorn. He almost went in and went down about a 3 feet incline. You've got to catch your guys coming out of bounds.
Penalty flags all over the place. Just as the ball was snapped, a procedure call against Ottawa.
Both guards tried to pull in different directions, so they moved before the ball.
Ottawa, legal procedure, number 61, declined. Second down.
The penalty on Brian Illebrun declined by Hamilton. You see Illebrun on the right side, number 61, up out of his stance prior to the ball being snapped. Actually, they could have called both guards. Gerald Roper also moved. Eddie Brown unable to make a diving catch in front of Corus Irvin.
Now, Damon Allen knew that he had one-on-one coverage, and Eddie Brown started to work his defender. Watch him come back, but the ball is outside, and he didn't make the catch. What do they say in the pros? If it hits you in the hands, you got to catch him.
Terry Baker stands at his 21-yard line for this third down punt. He's been averaging 2 yards less than his Hamilton counterpart. Nick Mazzoli gets a run back of 7 yards. There have been 12 punt return touchdowns in the Canadian Football League this season.
This guy could have really good at tucking it back up inside. See what I'm saying? A little more lane integrity.
Mark Mraz is the individual getting some additional coaching on the sidelines, and of course he is a newcomer to Hamilton and the Canadian Football League.
He needs oxygen, not coaching. They're never ready for the pace of the game when they come up from the States.
Rocky DiPietro tried to make the catch over Anthony Drawhorn. Well, let's go down to the sidelines and still live, Scott Oak.
And he stepped right on my foot, but I'm toughing it out. You got to play hurt, as they say, right, Joe? A doubleheader on the CFL on CBC next weekend. On Saturday, we'll be 60 kilometers down the highway at Skydome. The Edmonton Eskimos are in town to face the Argonauts. If the transit strike continues, we may need the whole week to get there. And on Sunday, we'll be in Calgary at McMahon Stadium. The Ticats travel there to face the Stampeders in the second half of the doubleheader.
Champion got turned around by Charles Wright, and Kerrigan's throw was well beyond him. So the Ticats send out their punting unit with 7:07 remaining. The Ottawa Rough Riders next Sunday visit Winnipeg. And that game could take on added importance depending on what happens here tonight and what transpires in Winnipeg's game under the dome against the BC Lions.
Yeah, I think Kerrigan expected a fade. He expected the champion to go upfield. They were both way off.
Eddie Brown back to receive the kick. He dodges the first downfield tackler, Wally Zatilny, and then is forced out of bounds by someone other than Terry Wright. A 14-yard return. 6:52 is the time remaining in the fourth quarter. 6:52 is the time remaining at Ivor Wynne, with 26 points on the board for Hamilton, 23 for Ottawa, and the Rough Riders with the football at their own 39-yard line. Pass is complete to James Ellingson. Incomplete, they rule. He was unable to retain control over on the sidelines on the hit by Tim Jackson.
Well, Damon put the ball out there. He just never took control of it.
Second and 10. Jackson preventing James Ellingson from making what appeared to be a catch over on the far side of the field. Catch is made by Gerald Wilcox, but he's a good 3 yards shy of a first down.
Well, and guess what happened to Damon Allen? David Bailey just came in there and smothered him. Bailey continues to work. It's amazing. We talked about the pace of the game, and guys coming up from the States usually need a little oxygen about this time in the game, but Bailey is really putting out. Watch Bailey just come in and smother Allen. And Allen had to throw the ball short. They didn't get the first down, even though it was completed to Ellingson. David, you're doing a good job. It drives those linemen crazy when they don't get sacks, you know. They hate quarterbacks.
Baker on third down is throwing wide open is Daniel Hunter. A third down gamble that pays big dividends for the Ottawa Rough Riders. A gain of 28 yards on third down. Joe Faragelli gambled. He had Terry Baker throw it. Daniel Hunter was wide open, and the result is a gain of 28.
Well, it's an old Louis Pasaglia idea. Those punters like to do that. They like to get in there and catch the coverage coming up. That was a good job by Terry Baker. Now, Joe Faragelli last week was victim to a fake punt, so this week he turned it around. This is a big play in the ballgame.
First and 10, Ottawa. The Rough Riders at the 36 of Hamilton. Barnes takes the handoff, and he's hit by David Bailey.
He hit Bailey on the tackle.
Well, this is a counter play, and Joe Faragelli saying, what happened? Where did this Bailey come from? But they're trying to get the linemen to follow the pulling guards, and watch Bailey just come in and bam. He took him head on.
A gain of 2. It's second and 8. Eddie Brown won't be pleased with that, and neither will the Ottawa coaching staff. He was open.
He was open, there's no question. They had the curl pattern coming back in. They were trying to work to the outside. Moulton was trying to drop back and get into the curl pattern. Watch Damon. He's trying to maneuver to get some time. Moulton couldn't get there. Eddie Brown had lost his footing.
Terry Baker with a 41-yard field goal attempt that could tie the game at 26. We have already seen 5 overtime games in the CFL this season, and with 4:23 remaining at Iverwin Stadium, the Rough Riders and the Ticats are deadlocked at 26. Scott?
Well, Don, tomorrow the pride of Canadian horse racing, Triple Crown winner Dan Smartley challenges an international field in the Molson Export Million. The morning line favorite, Fly So Free, may be scratched. He stepped on a stone during cool down yesterday, bruised his foot. He worked today, but they'll make the decision tomorrow. In the field for sure, along with Dan Smartley, is Jackie Wacky, also like Fly So Free, a Grade 1 stakes winner. $600,000 to the winner, and the telecast at 4:30 Eastern on Sports Weekend tomorrow.
Yes, a big race tomorrow on CBC Sports Weekend. Fly So Free, the 1990 champion 2-year-old colt in North America. And if ready to go, the class of the field, in the opinion of many horse racing authorities.
Jackie Wacky and Fly So Free, they sound like guys I used to coach.
That's why you're no longer coaching.
That's why I'm up here with you.
Morris on the kickoff return. There's another penalty flag. Terry Baker comes in to make the tackle at the 47-yard line, but back at the 20-yard line, we have a penalty flag, a 37-yard run back that goes for naught. Terry Baker should have watched our halftime show where Trevor Kennard of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers got involved in making a tackle, injured his back. Those kickers don't want to get involved in making too many tackles.
Hamilton, leader block, 39, first down.
Of course, Terry's a big guy. I mean, he's a little bigger than Trevor.
2 years ago, Winnipeg had a play with Trevor Kennard, a direct snap on short yardage. He only ran it a couple of times, but he was so small he would squirt underneath guys.
Well, Trevor's tough. There's no question about his toughness.
Rocky DiPietro is unable to one-hand the throw from Mike Kerrigan. 699 career receptions. He opened the game with a big catch. They haven't been able to get the ball to him since.
Well, I thought he was going to get that one because he was right inside on Anthony Drawhorn. Once again, they were in man coverage, blitz. Everybody coming up, no free safety. Rocky would have had a lot of yardage if he had caught it.
He's come back big time this season after missing most of last year and making only 13 catches. Winfield had Charles Gordon all over him. And look at John Gregory. He went running down the sidelines, and there's a penalty flag. And I think it's going to go against the Ticats. There's another one. As Earl Winfield smashes his helmet on the ground, John Gregory went running down the sidelines when he saw that there was no penalty flag. He felt that Charles Gordon should have drawn a penalty flag for his coverage on Earl Winfield.
Winfield was up for the ball and felt that he was contacted and didn't have a chance to bring the ball in. Well, they're talking about it now, and I don't know if they're talking about the call, if it was a catchable throw. I don't know what they're talking about.
They're attempting to cool Earl Winfield down. But I think the initial call may have gone against Gregory.
Hamilton, number 1, objection of conduct. Hamilton, number 1, objection of conduct. Dead ball foul, it's third down.
Not only do they get penalized half the distance to the goal line, but with the dead ball foul, they are now in a third down situation and are punting from the end zone.
Well, they're where they don't want to be, that's for sure. They're down on the 2-yard line, got to punt the ball out. They're sure to have, Ottawa's sure to have good field position.
Now, is there any possibility that Hamilton might concede a safety? No, they won't concede a safety touch. Anthony Drawhorn is stopped immediately at the 43.
What Winfield is upset about, that ball has been thrown to him. He puts the hands up, felt like there was contact before the ball got there. He judge the ball properly. John Gregory felt the same way. He's running over to talk to the official. Now Winfield is really smoking. He took his headgear off and banged it on the ground. What's the matter with you? This guy's pulling me down, pulling me by the jersey. That's interference. Now he's telling Kerrigan, you threw a good pass to me.
Reggie Barnes gets inside the 40-yard line. Vernon Maxwell made the tackle. Miles Gurrell this evening played 224th CFL game. 3:01 the time remaining here at Iverwin Stadium. John Gregory has seen his team lead throughout most of this football game, but now, with only 3:01 remaining, the Ottawa Rough Riders are in scoring position. Second down at the Hamilton 38. Second and 6 Ottawa. Damon Allen throws to the sidelines, and Gordon is open. He'll score.
Well, we kept talking about the play fake that Damon Allen was going to come out on the bootleg. We finally got it. Damon faked the ball to Reggie Barnes, came back out on the play fake. And as Coach Joe Faragelli said, this Bobby Gordon in practice, he looks like a receiver. Guess what, Coach? In the games, he looks like a receiver.
The Rough Riders now in front, 32-26. Terry Baker to add the point after out of the hold of John Kangemi. 2:44 is the time remaining here at Iverwin Stadium.
Nice play fake by Damon Allen, and that really got the defensive secondary off guard.
Good move by Gordon after making the catch, faking inside on Wilkerson and then turning it down the sidelines for the major score.
Yeah, I think Wilkerson was trying to keep him from coming back to the inside. He really put the move on him. Wilkerson had to try to pin him. Missed the tackle. And look what Bobby did.
2:44 remaining. Damon Allen with his second touchdown pass of the night. The first to Eddie Brown. He has scored a touchdown himself.
That's why we anticipated Damon coming out with more play fakes, Don, because of the pressure that the Hamilton was getting him and the respect they had for Reggie Barnes. It's the only thing that would freeze the linebackers is for Damon to give a good fake in there to Reggie Barnes.
Actually, 3 touchdown passes for Damon Allen. He also tossed an 11-yarder to Reggie Barnes. Jamie Morris on the kickoff return gets up to the 43-yard line, a 22-yard run back before being stopped by Daniel Hunter.
Now, John Gregory just told Kerrigan, we got lots of time. Don't be rattled by the amount of time to go in the ball game. You can drive that ball down with 2 minutes and 39 seconds. You can drive it down and get a score. He's trying to tell the crowd to settle down. The quarterback has to be able to call those signals. Cheer when the other team has the ball.
First and 10, way over the head of Tony Champion.
Now Kerrigan was pressured. There's a crossing stunt inside. And they were right in on Kerrigan.
We got 3 balls, sir.
2:33 remaining in the game. 33-26. Ottawa leads Hamilton. Game following a somewhat similar pattern to the last time they met at Iverwin Stadium, when Ottawa came from behind in the 4th quarter. Earl Winfield takes a hit from Scott Flagel as he was reaching for that football.
Yeah, he got ricocheted. He's way up for the ball. He's really vulnerable on that. Watch Earl come up for the football. He's really selling out. Charles Gordon knocks him, boom, right into Flagel's knee. That hurts.
At think they may have locked knees, and Earl Winfield certainly got the worst of it.
When those receivers are concentrating on the ball, they're really vulnerable. So Gordon gave him a push, and Flagel, of course, being a veteran, he knew it was coming, so he tucked in.
Perhaps in this replay, we can see where the contact was made. It looked as though they may have banged knees. Winfield reaching for his right knee, and that appears to be the part of his anatomy that is receiving the most attention. He's also pointing to his right shoulder.
Yeah, he took a hard hit on the shoulder. Flagel saw it coming, so Flagel tucked in a little bit, and they collided, and I think the initial hit was on Winfield's shoulder, but how he landed on that leg could have a bearing on his knee.
Scott Flagel, a former member of the Hamilton Ticats, prior to being traded to Ottawa. He has also seen service previously in the CFL with Winnipeg and Calgary. And Scott Flagel, over the years, has developed a reputation for being a punishing hitter at that safety position. A safety who, on occasion, is inclined to gamble. When he guesses right, it pays off. Sometimes he can be burned.
He gets nervous when the other team gets down close to his goal line, so you can see him. He oftentimes will come up to the line of scrimmage. He really works on the offensive quarterback's mind when they start to get close to scoring. Now, Winfield's got a leg problem, no question, probably because of the way he landed.
Good punt by Osbaldiston, and it bounces out of bounds at the 21.5.
Hamilton can still get the ball back. There's 2:21 to go. If they hold them, they'll still get the ball back in decent field position.
Good 47-yard kick by Paul Osbaldiston. 33-26, Ottawa leads Hamilton. This is the third and final meeting this season between these two teams. Ottawa winning both previous games, 24-19 on August 24th. 5 days later, 38-14. This is where the Hamilton defense must come up with a big play. Barnes, the ball carrier, he's stopped by Bailey.
Barnes, the ball carrier, he's stopped by Bailey.
The first contact came from Peter Giftopoulos, and then Bailey finished the job. Regardless of what happens over the balance of the season, I think the Hamilton Tiger Cats have to be pleased with the way they have rebuilt their defense. They have some talented players out there, some good newcomers. John Moten, David Bailey, Mark Mraz, and Brian Hill.
Well, John Gregory said that he wanted to see what they could come up with defensively. He likes their secondary. He wants to get better pass rush.
Allen got that play away just in time. He beat the 20-second clock by 1 second. And Eddie Brown loses the football, but I believe the whistle had gone prior to that ball popping loose, and Eddie Brown should have a first down. He does. .149 is the time remaining. Scott?
Don, Earl Winfield came into this game with several rolls of tape holding together a pulled quad. On that one play where he was hurt a moment ago, he hurt both his shoulder and his knee. They think it's just a slight knee sprain. His shoulder is hurting him more than his knee, but obviously with the amount of time left in this game, he will not return tonight.
Reminiscent of the hit that Winey took a couple weeks back.
Reggie Barnes runs hard to the 42, very close to another first down. Peter Giftopoulos made the tackle, but more importantly for the Ottawa Rough Riders, they keep that clock running. The short yardage offense now will come into the ball game.
That's what they don't want to have happen. Hamilton doesn't want them to make 8-9 yards on first down, because now they can waste a lot of time. Clutch catch by Eddie Brown, the series prior to this one, or the play prior to this one.
Sean Daniels and Kensley Palmer come into the ball game along with Michael LeMay. trying to get the first down. It will probably be close enough for a measurement. Mark Mraz stacked things up in the middle.
Barnes, the ball carrier. Raz made the stop.
1:06 is the time remaining. 33-26. Ottawa leads Hamilton.
You got all the wide receivers waiting to see if they can come back into the ball game because they got the big team in there. Ottawa's wide receivers, they want to come back in. Looks like the little brothers wanting to come back in, play with the big guys. Oh, their little brothers are walking off the field.
It's third down, and Joe Faragelli is going after it.
They held him once before. Hamilton did in the first half.
They won't hold them this time as Damon Allen, behind the surge of the right side, dives through to the 45, and with just 51 seconds remaining, the Ottawa Rough Riders have a first down and should be able to take that clock almost down to 0.
Here's third down. Push him back. You see a nice line surge. They get real good charge in there. And Brian Illebroon was the guy that led the way. And Damon Allen just followed him. This is John Gregory's dying 1,000 deaths right now. If only he's thinking about 4 or 5 different plays in this ball game that could have gone the other way.
Well, I'm quite sure after this run by Conrad, he'll be calling a timeout, but Conrad is going to be very close to a first down with only 29 seconds remaining. And I don't think there's much that the Hamilton Ticats now can do with the clock.
Well, there's not a heck of a lot they can do now with the ball game. And you have to give Ottawa some credit because they overcame some turnovers, some early game problems and mistakes. And Damon Allen injured some really good drives in that second half in particular.
Damon Allen is going to use as much time as possible on that 20-second clock. The play draws a penalty flag, but with only 12 seconds remaining, I don't think it's going to mean too much.
Joe, that's a signal for second down. You notice how coaches always like to help the officials?
Unsolicited advice.
Here's the call.
Not yet.
Ottawa, legal procedure, no end, first down repeated.
Well, in their eagerness to protect quarterback Damon Allen, they didn't have an end on the line of scrimmage.
Well, maybe they were cupped a little bit. They were back too far. They got to be right up on the line. 7 people. I think they're okay this time.
10 seconds remaining, and now the Ottawa Rough Riders on third down. Well, Hamilton is calling a timeout. Pardon me, that's only second down because of the penalty.
Well, Joe said he told Damon Allen that he didn't want him to have to win the game on his own. And that was the kind of a game it was tonight. Damon Allen had help all over the field. So Eddie Brown did a good job. He had Bobby Gordon out there at the other wideout. And, of course, Reggie Barnes. And then Damon ran one in himself. So he didn't do it all himself today, Coach Faragelli.
9 seconds remain as Damon Allen drops to a knee. But now it's third down, and they can use up all 9 seconds and still simply snap the ball and ground it, and that's what Damon Allen will do now. So really that timeout didn't mean anything. It didn't change Ottawa's strategy at all for running the final seconds off the clock. And the Ottawa Rough Riders sweep the Hamilton Ticats, winning all 3 meetings this season. And now the Ottawa Rough Riders move within 2 points of second-place Winnipeg in the Eastern Division. And it's going to be very, very difficult now for the Hamilton Ticats to qualify for postseason play. Joe Faragelli being congratulated by John Gregory as the Ottawa Rough Riders return home with a 33-26 win over Hamilton.
And the BC Lions at 7:30 here at the stadium.
At Arborwind Stadium, the Ottawa Rough Riders have ended a 2-game losing streak, and they used the Hamilton Tiger Cats to do it. The Rough Riders can thank quarterback Damon Allen for this come-from-behind victory. He is our Molson MVP. Quiet in the first half, as were both offenses, but Allen rallied the Riders in the final quarter, took it in himself here with the advantage of a good block, and Ottawa led 23-19. The result of this major score en route to a 33-26 win. Allen also threw 3 touchdown passes in it, and he is our Molson MVP. That touchdown pass to Bobby Gordon, in large part the result of the penalties against Earl Winfield. You got to take advantage of those when you have the chance, and you did.
Well, there's no question you have to take advantage of plays like that when the game is really struggling, and I feel you know, we're going to come back and win the ball game. But it was a tough ball game, and they usually play us really tough here in Iberwin. So you have to give their defense a lot of credit.
You ever seen the Ticats blitz as much as they did you tonight?
Well, they did a good job in the first half, but you know, it was tough trying to get our rhythm going, and finally we did. But you know, I'm glad we got the win, and that's the most important thing.
Damon, do you feel as though you got the playoff spot locked up in the East now, because it's a tough climb for the Ticats out of last place?
Well, it's a tough spot for the Ticats, but still, I think the most important thing for us is just finish strong the rest of the year, and not worry about, you know, playoff spot. The main thing is, if we play well at the end of the year, then we have an opportunity to do very well in the playoffs, and I think that's the most important. I think our team is really looking for. You know, the playoff spot's nice, but you know, I want to be ready to play when playoffs start.
All right, Damon, congratulations. Thanks for your time. And now here's Don Whitman with Joe Galat.
Thank you, Scott. Damon Allen with 3 touchdown passes, and the big one was the one to Bob Gordon late in the game. The coaching staff told us that in practice, Bob Gordon looked like a receiver. He confirmed that in the game tonight.
Well, we were waiting for Damon Allen to run that play action, and he ran the play action, got the ball out to Bobby, and Bobby went all the way in for the touchdown, beat his defender, and there's 6 points, deciding points in the ballgame.
So the Ottawa Rough Riders complete a sweep of the Hamilton Ticats this season with their win tonight, and now they are just 2 points back of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in the battle for second place in the East. Scott?
Well, Don, in a season of explosive games, this one does not really follow the form chart, as neither team broke 50, but Ottawa did its best to save face for CFL offenses, and now it's going to be an all but impossible climb out of the basement for the Ticats, the result of tonight's loss. 1 week tonight will be at Skydome in Toronto, where the Argonauts will entertain Ron Lancaster's Edmonton Eskimos. The Gizmo, the Pinball, the Rocket, the league's major nicknames will perform there. And don't forget, a $1 million horse race, the Molson Export Million from Woodbine on Sports Weekend at 4:30 Eastern tomorrow afternoon. Thanks for watching tonight. Good night from Hamilton.